Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. Today, we're going to talk about some of the top 5 cards for Pioneer that may make a bit of a splash out of Duskmourn. Because, hey, things could happen. You never know. But with all that said, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Links into the description. We've got drawings coming up for members, all kinds of other stuff. Stay tuned. So be a member on YouTube, get into some free drawings, especially with the holidays coming up. And with all that said, let's take a look at it. So we're going to start with an honorable mention. We have the good old Hunt Woods Shrieker. 2 green and 1 for a 3/3. Whenever it attacks, you get to manifest Dread, which means you get to look at the top 2 cards, put one of the cards face down as a 2/2 creature, the one in the graveyard. The big thing about this card, for a green and 1, you can reveal target face down permanent. If it's a creature card, you may turn it face up. I see a lot of good things for this card, especially since it's not legendary, in the mono green deck. It's got 2 green pips, which will help out mono green. The extra mana it has, excuse me, or that the deck can produce, can easily be shaped into the green and 1 to reveal face down cards. You may attack with this. It may die as soon as you attack with it. But with some of the big nappy green cards that you could put face down onto the battlefield, you could easily turn those up as well. And let's not forget, it's not a sorcery, so you can do it in response in case your Shrieker dies. And I think if mono green can incorporate this card and it plays well, this could be a nice addition to the mono green deck. And who knows, maybe it will make a splash in Pioneer. Moving on next, we're going to start with number 5. We have good old Kona, the Rescue Beastie. Green and 3 for a 4/3. Now, this creature has survival, which is the main call to fame for this, for the Pioneer format. Basically meaning if this creature is tapped at the beginning of your second main phase, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. This could not only be good in mono green, even though it's only a 1 green pip, it could be good in any combo deck using big creatures or big permanents. Here's why. Because it's a permanent comes into play, this just has to be tapped. And you may be thinking, well, yeah, but if you swing with it, you're going to have to protect it, and then you won't have permanents in your hand, XYZ. True. But there are many green creatures that for 1 green say, tap another permanent, tap another creature, add 1 green to your mana pool. And it's a 1 green to cast, or 1 green starter. This is 4. So you quite literally could play this the same turn and tap it for mana, and then go to your second main and put a big creature from your hand, or a big permanent in general, from your hand onto the battlefield, like a Greater Hoof. But anyway, not that Greater Hoof getting the battlefield in second main is going to be great, but just saying, there's lots of big green things that can go on the battlefield, and it could be part of a combo that we haven't seen yet, or fit into some combo decks to just tap this thing and poof, there's my thing. So I think it's got some possibilities, a lot more than the previous card, because it can be played in other decks as a combo piece, not just mono green. Moving on, next we have number 4, a great card, Screaming Nemesis. Didn't really quite make the standard format, only because there's not normally a lot of life gain in standard. But with this, in Pioneer and older formats, this card could be good. A red and 2 for a 3/3 haster that, whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. And if a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. So you literally could purposely swing in, and if they block it for any reason, you deal damage to your opponent. He is now locked out of life gain for the rest of the game. Or locked out of life gain for the rest of the game, which could be huge, meaning that he's always going to get in, or they won't swing on you, because if they swing, it's even worse, because it says when Nemesis is dealt damage, it deals that much. So if they swing with a big 6/6 meanie like from Mean Green, you're going to deal 6 back to the opponent, and now they can't gain life, and you may be able to race them to 0. So this card's got lots of possibility in Pioneer and can stop a lot of shenanigans. Moving on, next we have at number 3, a standard All-Star in my opinion. Will also be an All-Star in Pioneer, and that is basically a cheap Wrath. Split up, 2 white and 1, destroy all tapped creatures or destroy all untapped creatures. Again, like I mentioned before, you don't get Wraths for 3 mana very often, if at all. And most of those 3 mana Wraths are not destroy abilities. They're -2, -3 for a certain creature type if you're lucky. Toxic Deluge, where you have to pay life. This is a almost unconditional board wipe of whatever type of creature you choose, whether it be tapped or untapped, meaning you could keep your creatures untapped and then kill all the tapped ones to just wipe your opponent, or purposely tap all your creatures so you can then kill all his that are untapped. But probably the best thing about this is you're going to get to, while your stuff's untapped, say destroy all tapped creatures, and then swing in. So, yeah. Going to be a great card, not only in some aggro decks, but definitely in those control decks everybody loves to play. Whether it be white, blue, black, or whatever color white you like, this will definitely be the go-to board wipe. Moving on, next we have number 2. We have the Doomsday X Crater. I can't pronounce this word. I'm tired and my sinuses are stuffed up. Anyway, this is a 6 black, all black pips for a 6/6 flyer. Now, when it enters, if it was cast, each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards of the library face down. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card, meaning you will deck yourself first. Now, keywords here, if it was cast. In Pioneer, this is probably going to be one of the better cards to animate out of your graveyard, whether it be from a cheap reanimate target spell or whatever the case may be. I think this may come in to be one of the prime reanimate targets for Pioneer because of the 6/6 flying, also the ability to draw an extra card every turn. And also there's always the possibility that you literally could just cast this thing and then mill your opponent to death before you get milled. Like, I mean, all it would take is to cast this for 6 and then hit them with 2 mill 3s. Just saying. Is that a viable strategy? Wait to turn 6 to cast this? Probably not in Pioneer. Lots of combos going on there. But if we ever needed a card or a creature that we could animate from the graveyard that fit into Pioneer, I think this would definitely be your target. Now, with that said, let's move on to number 1 card for Pioneer, and we're being serious this time. We're talking Demonic Console, black and 1 sorcery. Search your library for a demon card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. But the key words to all this is Delirium. If you have 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, instead, search your library for any card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. This is Demonic Tutor for Pioneer, with all the combo decks that are out there and how fast they fill their graveyards up with fetch lands, baubles, sorceries, instants to draw cards that cost 1. This can very easily, on turn 2 or 3, when the combo's getting ready to pop off, be able to be cast to get any cards you need. Plus, once it hits the graveyard, it fuels all the graveyard stuff and everything else. This has a lot going on for it, and I think this card will probably be the first, or probably the next, we'll say the first, but might be the next card to get banned in Pioneer if it does end up being the new Demonic Tutor. So, with all that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I do appreciate it. Until next time, be kind. If you have some of your picks for what's hot and what's not, put them down in the comment section below. Let's talk about it. I hope to see you across from the game table. I'm telling you, it's Demonic Tutor. That's what it is.